folks, Jim and Leela here for Alternative October. That's right, this month we're doing nothing but alternative comics. No Marvel, no DC. Just lots of alternative stuff and small press stuff that's not available from Diamond. So let's get to it with Buffy #1.
Yes, this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is Season 9, #1. This is by Joss Whedon and Georges Jeantet. So, in case you didn't know, Season 8 ended with Buffy cutting off the world from all hell dimensions and supernatural influence by destroying the seed, which has left Willow powerless, and the Slayer line is ended,
Boo.
and Giles is dead. What? Okay. So this season opens with Buffy living in San Francisco. She has new roommates, and she's a waitress. And now,
she also likes to party down.
Yeah, and she likes to party. In this one, she just is trying to remember basically what happened the night before at this awesome party that she hosted. So, okay, this was an okay first issue. It did make me kind of sad because, I mean, Buffy's trying so hard to make herself and everyone around her feel like everything is going to be okay after the events of last season. But you can sense that those events are going to change everything and everyone. At least, I hope that's what Joss is getting at. Because otherwise, I hate this Buffy book.
Well, I did. For me, I also read it, but I also loved the twist ending. I know you hated it, but I loved it. I just thought it was hilarious.
I don't know. I hope that we're not going to see more Buffy as sort of a vacuous teenager again. I mean, I thought we came, further than that.
I thought we got rid of that a long time ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but every season has to start somewhere, and for me, it can only go up from here. But it was an interesting beginning, and I guess I'm going to have to read the Angel and Faith series as well to really see how Season 8 is affecting everyone. But this one was just okay for me, but hopefully it gets better.
And hey, no Brian Lynch.
There's always that, I guess.
Yeah. Next up, we have Blockade Battlefront by Yushiro Nightow. And in this one, 3 years ago, New York City was destroyed and is now under an impenetrable... I hate that word. Impenetrable bubble, and rebuilt as Jerusalem's Lot, a paranormal melting pot where magic and madness dwell. Now, someone is threatening to breach the bubble, and it's up to the agents of Libra to prevent the unthinkable. Now, I certainly enjoyed this manga. It's from the creator of Trigun, so if you're a fan of that, you're probably going to really enjoy it. I had a lot of fun with it. Really interesting characters, really fun designs. It's a fun start to a new series, so check it out if you get a chance. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, next up we've got an offering from Image Comics. This is Blood Red Dragon #0 by John Goff, Carlo Serrano, and the Crime Lab Syndicate with Stan Lee and Yoshiki. Okay, so an overwhelming dark force known as Oblivion plans to end all of humanity, and all that stands in their way is a musician. That's right.
Gene Simmons?
No. Yoshiki has been given the power to fight back Oblivion. An ancient adversary basically has returned, and the power of the dragon has been made flesh in his body. So, enter the Blood Red Dragon. I really liked this. It was surprisingly good. It had decent art, an action-packed story. I think it's worth giving a few issues. It was actually very interesting. And I mean,
you really can't go wrong with the price point.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the price point, and there's some very successful people involved in this book. I think even Todd McFarlane was involved with the development.
Todd McFarlane's successful now?
Yes,
well, successful still sucks.
Yeah, the Spawn is still running, so you got to put it successful right there. I mean, and Stan Lee, and Yoshiki worked on this together, and this is what they came up with. And you know what? I thought it was a very decent read. I was prepared to hate it and was actually surprised. So give it a shot. That would be my recommendation.
Next up, we have Steampunk Fairy Tales, written and drawn by Rod Espinosa and Fred Perry. And in the first story, Fairyland Steampocalypse, all of Fairyland is under siege by hostile forces of Gestapo zombie orcs, and it's up to the fairy tale princesses to stop them. Well, in the second story, Steampunk Cinderella, the evil stepmother and stepsisters abuse and use Cinderella and don't allow her to go to the ball. But Cinderella, with a little help from some steampunk technology, is the belle of the ball, but finds out not everyone can have a fairy tale happy ending. I simply loved Steampunk Cinderella. I can't really say I loved land steampunkalypse, but it's not Fred's best, but oh my god, I simply adore Steampunk Cinderella. It's beautifully drawn, beautifully written. It's probably one of Rod's best stories since Courageous Princess, and that's saying a lot. I really enjoyed it, and really loved the twist ending. It was perfect in its simplisticness, and I just really enjoyed it.
Okay, next up we've got a viewer send-in. This is Queen of Hearts by Louisa Roy. Is it Roy or
yeah.
Waugh? Okay, it's Roy. Sorry. Okay, so in this is the story of Corin and Marie Louise, and a love sacrificed for duty, but not forgotten. So I like this. I actually thought that it was very well executed. I loved the art, and you know,
simply gorgeous.
Yeah, it was really well done. And while the story isn't anything new, you know, like two people who fall in love who can't be together. Who's
done that? I mean, come on.
You know, while it wasn't anything new, I thought it was very well executed, and I was charmed by it. So, good job, and if you have a chance to check this one out, definitely pick it up. It was really good.
Next up, we have Bonnie Lass, #1, written by Michael Maine, with art by Michael Maine and Tyler Fluharty. And in this one, meet Bonnie Lass, a brash and daring young heroine and her two muscle-headed sidekicks. Bonnie is determined to overshadow her father, the famous Cutlass, and become a legend by acquiring the Eye of the Leviathan. But other forces are seeking to claim it themselves. Wow, I love this book. I simply adore this book. It's so much fun. To say it's original is going a little overboard, but it's a lot of fun. If you're a fan of pirates, you're going to really enjoy this. And steampunk, you're really going to love this one. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. Simply worth it.
Okay, next up we've got this beautiful hardcover here called Holy Terror. This is the newest offering
and it's
from.
Holy Terrible.
Now let's give it a chance first. Okay, so this is the newest offering from Frank Miller, and it only comes in this big format, much like the 300 redo was offered in. So the description for this book is that there's a deadly menace somewhere in Empire City, and the Fixer has only until dawn to save his town. And civilization as we know it. And so it starts out with this character called Natalie Stack, who's a burglar on the run from the Fixer. So there's two sort of superhero, or a superhero and a supervillain. And they become an unlikely pair that team up to fight a terrorist plot and fall in love, or possibly just lust, in the process. Okay. So, this wasn't my favorite Frank Miller project. I am a fan of 300, and I am a fan of Sin City. And even looking at his highly stylized art, which is either definitely for some people or not, there's definitely pages that, to me, were just terrible. Even giving for his art style, I didn't like it. And then it got better later. And also, like, the terrorist theme plot, it hasn't really done it for me since 24. Since then, I'm just not really interested in terrorist plot stuff. But the love story was kind of interesting, mixed into all of that, and I do understand that he's trying to, say something about terrorism and fear and all that. But to me, it just didn't quite come together. If you're a Frank Miller fan, you're probably going to love it anyway, because, it's Frank Miller.
I didn't like it.
But I can't really say that I recommend it highly unless you are really into Frank Miller already.
And last, and certainly not least, we have Real Magic, written by David Talon with art by Tara Talon. And in this one, a young apprentice named Thomas goes to the magician Gavin to learn about magic. But when they must visit town for supplies, it seems Gavin falls under a spell no one can escape from. The spell of love. I love this. Then again, Tara's a good friend of mine, but simply, this is a very short story, only about 6 pages long, but it tells a really good story in those very short 6 pages, and it's simply wonderful. Great art, great story. I like that they kind of have Gavin look like Smendrick from The Last Unicorn.
Really?
Which is kind of nice. It's a good little homage. But the story is really good. It's done almost from a child's point of view, so it really works. Check this one out if you get a chance, and go to Tara's website and read Galaxian every week. We will see you next week for week 2 of Alternative October.